Hi everyone. So welcome to the stream today. Very much excited for having you coming your way once again for us to discuss and look at the various issues we need to look out for the ICA examination. Today is going to be special. Today, tomorrow is going to be special because I'm going to be providing you with some strategies on what you need to do, how you need to study in the next 40 days so you can prepare for your examination. So if you join the stream, welcome. Give us a thumbs up on the video. That way, the YouTube gods will be able to get push the video so that we will be able to reach other people in relation to that. So if there are any questions, put it in the chat box for me. I'm sharing with you some exams tips, how you can study for your exams, especially for the 40 days that we have towards the ICA May 2020 examination. So I see some comments here. Hi, Samuel Corte said, watching. Sorry, I'm watching. And then Enoch said, good evening, Shira. Good evening, Enoch. I believe you are doing well. And then Enoch said, a friend sent me a provisional timetable for ICA, which is supposed to be in July. Please, how authentic is this? Please, how authentic is this? Yes, the exams is coming on 13th July 2020. So you have less than 40 days to go in relation to that. So Charles, it's true. The exams is coming on and you have so Enoch, the exams it's coming on in relation to that. Charles Zuli, I see you. Good evening. I believe you are also doing well. Okay, so if you join the stream and you have any questions, you put it in the chat box. I'll be very much excited to answer all your questions for you. Like I mentioned, today is very special. We're going to look at some exam tips. I'm going to provide you with some strategies on how you can study in order for you to prepare well for the ICA May 2020 examination, which is coming on from the 13th of July 2020. So that is the new timetable and the new time date or the new date set for the exams. Now, so before we go, let me share a couple of things with you from the ICA on how the exams it's going to be and a couple of things you must observe in relation to that. Patients, good evening. I hope you are doing well. Andrew Opon Beko, hi Andrew. I believe you are doing well. Patient said, sorry for being late today. Okay, we are just about starting, so you are within time as well. Okay, so before I go into the exam strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you, this is a document issued by the ICA for the May 2020 examination, which is actually slated for, to begin on 13th and end on 17th July 2020 in relation to that. So Matthew Agbolegbe, I see you. Good evening. I hope you are doing well. Then patient said, I trust you and my colleagues are good. Yes, I am good. By the grace of God, I'm flourishing and doing very well. Thank you for asking. Okay, so this is notice to all candidates. Notice to all candidates. Please, you must know this before you go to the exam hall. It's very critical, it's very important, so you don't have any issues in relation to the exams. So let's go through that real quick, and then I'll start with the strategies. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. If you join the stream also, give us a thumbs up on the video. That way, YouTube will be able to push the video so we can reach as much people as possible. If you know a friend, a colleague that is writing the ICMA 2020 exams and has to be here, come on, share the video with them, ring them up quickly, and then let's join, and together let's study and prepare well for your examination. Today, I'm providing you with some key strategies on how you can study and prepare for the exams in less than 40 days so you pass the exams in relation to that. Grace, I see you. Good evening. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the stream. So let's go through this document real quick. I'm not going to be talking about it that much. Just want to make it and bring it to your notice as well in relation to that. So the government at the beginning of this week announced a phased approach to easing restriction imposed on social and public gathering from 5th June 2020. Based on this, Council, after careful deliberation, has approved that the postponed May 2020 professional examination be rescheduled for 13th July to 17th July 2020. What it means is that your exams is starting on the 13th and you finish on the 17th. So it's going to be 1 week in relation to that, and will be held at all examination centers. So all examination centers, the exams will be available. A revised timetable for the examination has been posted at the Institute's website. And I know you have seen the revised timetable already, a couple of changes on the dates in relation to that. So below are the safety and preventive protocols which students will be required to adhere to before they enter any exam hall. So before you enter any exam hall, these are the safety and preventive protocols that you have to follow as a student. Edu, I see you. I'm in class today. Yep. Avoka Gajesbeck. Good evening, sir. Good evening. I hope you are doing well. Samuel Quasin, I see you. You are welcome to the stream. It's been a long time since I heard from you, Samuel. I hope you are doing well and you are preparing for your exams, since now our date has been released to be 13th July for the exams. Any questions you have, please put it in the chat for me. Maybe you are learning something you don't understand. There is something you want me to clarify on. There is a module or something, an accounting standard. What is it? Whatever it is that you are studying, you have a problem with, put it in the chat box for me. I'm going to be reading all of your questions and also provide you with some answers in relation to that. So welcome everybody to the stream. Remember to share the stream if you know there are some friends that must join the stream. So 1, all morning papers will start at 9:30 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. So usually the exams for the morning sessions starts at 9, but now it's going to be 9:30. Listen carefully. Candidates should arrive at the exam center an hour before the examination starts. That is, sorry, before the examination starts. That is at 8 a.m. in order to go through the safety and preventive protocols. So the exams is 9:30, but 8:30, by 8:30, you have to be at the exam center so that the safety protocols can be done, maybe taking of temperature of students, all of those things. You got it before you get into the exam hall. 2, all afternoon papers will start at 2:30 p.m. instead of 2 p.m. Again, candidates will be required to arrive at 1 p.m. to go through all safety and preventive protocols. So again, for the afternoon papers, level 3 students usually, then that is going to be, that's for you. In the afternoon, 1 p.m., you got to be there in relation to that. Jonas, I see you. You are welcome to the stream. Give us a thumbs up on the video if you join. And that way we get more engagement on the video. But most importantly, I want you to put your questions in the chat box for me. whatever questions you have. Now the exams date is out, so we've got to be serious, we've got to be direct, we've got to be straightforward. So whatever questions you have, don't hesitate. Put it in the chat box for me. I'm going to be trying as much as possible to answer all your questions for you in relation to that. 3, candidates will be expected to wash their hands at the designated point before entering any exam hall. Hand sanitizers will be provided at all examination halls. So you've got to take note that you will be washing your hand before you enter. This is fundamental. This is important. This is fundamental and this is important in relation to that. So definitely the examiner, sorry, you are going to be required to wash your hands. So you get there and go and do flex. Media, I don't wash my hand. I've used sanitizer already. You will wash your hand. It's part of the protocol. It's compulsory. Good morning. Sorry, good evening, sir. Mohammed Sakib, I see you. You are welcome to the stream. I believe you are doing well, Mohammed, and you are preparing for your exams well. Next, candidates will be required to wear nose masks. Note that there will be operation no nose masks, no entry policy at all examination centers. So prepare and put your nose masks down. When you get to the exam hall, you're going to be wearing it. If you don't put on the nose mask, you're not going to enter the exam hall. This is statutory, this is compulsory. So for those of you who say, when I put on the nose mask, I can't breathe. Me, I want to be free. Me, I want to be free. When you get to the exam hall, you go and do that. You go home and go and write your exams there. So take note of that. No nose masks, no entry policy. So make sure you put that in your mind. Get your notes marks ready, put them on, and you go to the exam hall because you're going to be sitting down, that kind of thing. So you've got to have your notes marks on a regular basis in that case. Next one. Candidates are hereby reminded to download the uploaded timetable at the website. So the timetable, it's available, but it goes the same way you know already. Monday, you got financial reporting, financial accounting, corporate reporting, that kind of thing. It follows that order. Just that the timing, instead of 9, it's going to be 9:30. Instead of 2, it's going to be 2:30 p.m. in relation to that. Then the last thing, examination registration has been reopened and will close finally on Monday, 15th June 2020. So registration has been extended to 15th June 2020. So for those of you who have not registered yet, who would want to register, or maybe you registered a paper or 2 papers, but you want to add an additional paper to it, it's possible for you to register. All you would do is, if you have registered already and you want to register some additional papers, you need to go to the bank, make the payment, and then you send the receipt to the accounts department at the ICA, and then they will be able to update your exams details in relation to that. So registration for the exams has been extended or reopened to close finally on Monday, 15th June 2020. So you take note of that. The Institute entreats all candidates to commit themselves seriously to the above safety and preventive protocols to ensure a successful examination administration. So this is what you need to understand as a student if you are going to be preparing for the ICAG examination. Now, this has been issued by the Chief Executive Officer, so Paul Kwesi Agyemang, the Chief Executive Officer of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. So issued by him, signed by him in relation to that. So these are the things you must note about the ICA exams. 2 things I want you to make sure you don't forget. You need to reach the exam hall 1 hour ahead of time so that the safety and preventive protocols can be gone through. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is your nose masks, because their policy is that no nose masks, no entry at all exam centers. So please make sure you adhere to these things. Don't be boastful. Don't go and pack your 4x4 or your Kia Picanto and come and do a hand time sem. You won't be allowed. Just make sure you adhere to these protocols, and let's all be safe, because coronavirus is still here with us in relation to that. So take note of this, and make sure you note that. So any comments, please put them in the chat box for me. Patient said, wow, great ICA. Good. So you're applauding ICA for what they have done. That's great. Trying as much as possible to make sure that students are protected, so nobody distributes coronavirus at the end of the day. Okay, so what are the exam steps? What strategies are we going to implement? As of today, we're going to have approximately about less than 40 days for us to prepare for the examination. Now, the question that we ask ourselves is, how do we prepare? Because when the exams date was brought and the timetable was released, students were like, "Oof, oh, ICA." Yesterday, we were even having a discussion on that, and throughout today, even on YouTube, did I say YouTube? Facebook and WhatsApp platforms, and people were like, "Oh, ICA is not thinking about students. Why don't they cancel the exams? Blah, blah, blah. We didn't prepare, whatever, whatever." Listen to me carefully. Don't say certain things, all right? You have 40 days to go, and you can make it in relation to that. So the question is, what do you do? How do you structure yourself? How do you study? How do you prepare for the exams? If you are registered for the exams and you are preparing to write the exams, what do you do in these less than 40 days in order for you to pass the examination? That is what I want to share with you today. That is what I want to discuss with you today in relation to that. I'm going to share with you today 2 key strategies on how you can prepare in less than 40 days to pass the exams. And then tomorrow, I'm going to also be touching on some key critical aspects of the syllabus that you would have to look out for in relation to that. Like I mentioned, if you join the stream and you have any questions for me on whatever, maybe it's related to a subject, it related to the exams, or whatever it is, just put it in the chat box for me. I'm reading all of your comments real life and or real time so that I can reply to them. Okay, so how are you going to win, prepare, go into the exam hall, not freak out in the exam hall, write the exam, answer the questions the way you are required to answer the questions, and most importantly, pass the exams? So the first thing that you need to understand is the mindset. That is the first thing. The first way you need to understand, the first strategy to be able to help you in this less than 40 days to prepare, study for the exams, it's your mindset. Is it possible? What do you believe? Do you believe you can do it? What are you afraid of? How do you see the exams? What's your perspective on the exam? It's very critical for you to understand. Do you believe you can do it? Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you're a follower of my work, you will understand that one of the things I talk about a lot is the mindset. Because you've got to believe that it's possible. You've got to trust that you can do it. You don't have to be fearful. You don't have to be freaked out in relation to that. Now, what perspective are you having as an individual? So if this is a cup that I have here, and the cup is having some liquid inside, how do you see it? Do you say the cup is half full or it's half empty? It depends on your perspective. If you see this cup as half empty, you may be scared. You may be freaked out. You may say, I've not studied, I've not prepared. But if you see the cup as half full, you are seeing, or you have some level of assurance, and you can now work to be able to fill the cap fully in relation to that. Now, I know some of you are saying, Nhyira, I've not prepared. Nhyira, I don't know anything. Nhyira, I don't remember anything. But one thing I understand is this, that definitely you know something. You cannot tell me your mind is empty. No, you know something. So let the little you know become the foundation. Let the little you know becomes the cup being half full or being quarterly full, so that you can believe, so you can trust that when I put in the work, I can make it happen. So that is the first thing I want you to understand. It's going to be from the mind. This is a mind game. This is a mind game. Now, I heard a couple of people talking, or I've heard a couple of people saying that when the ICA suspended tuition, they've not been able to study. Their tuition providers didn't do any virtual class for them. Is ICA not caring that students are not preparing for the exams? Why are they jumping so that they can make more money, and they are making room for the November examination? Listen, nobody is thinking about that. ACCA postponed its June exams to July. It's done by everyone in relation to that. And this is one thing that you have to understand. Number one is this, that ICA is not responsible for your studies. Okay, your ability to finish the syllabus is not the responsibility of ICA. Now, let me give you another shock. Number two, your tuition provider is not responsible for your exams. In other words, your tuition provider is not responsible for finishing the syllabus with you. It is your responsibility to make sure you finish the syllabus. One of the things I see a lot is that people push responsibility to people who don't have control over it. So if you paid fees and you were not taken through any tuition during the shutdown, your institution didn't organize any virtual class for you, does it mean you will go to the exam hall and you will fail? No, you got to take your life into your hands. You got to be responsible for what you're doing in relation to that, because it is not all, or it's not everybody, it's not all the institutions that will have the capacity to provide the online education in that case. When ICA suspended us to stop teaching, and we stopped teaching, we were still teaching online. We started with Skype. Later on, we came to Zoom, and we are having our courses available online. So students were still learning, and we were still having our Zoom sessions, our Skype sessions in relation to that. Did all students join? The answer is no. Some people didn't join. Some people said they're having internet problem. Some people, that is not my responsibility. That is not ICA's responsibility. That is your responsibility. So in order for you to position yourself to pass the examination, it has to start from the mind. Stop the blame game. And ICA, you should have taken your time a little bit. And my tuition provider has not finished the syllabus. And my lecturer has not finished the syllabus. Then don't write the exams. Wait, November, when you are prepared, you write the exams. Because this is very critical. This is fundamental when you are starting the exams. So please don't push responsibility to somebody else. One thing that is going to be happening also is, and I've heard people already starting to push it, is intervention class. Listen to me carefully. You don't need an intervention class if you have not been studying. Because you see, intervention class is putting all pieces together and giving you the thing like that, and you freak out. You freak out if you have not studied, if you have not put in any effort, and you just attend an intervention class. And I know there are some of you waiting that there will be an intervention class. Yeah, Kofi will organize, you will go. Ama will organize, you will go. Chairman will organize, you will go. KK will organize, and you will go. Listen to me carefully. Don't have that mindset of the fact that, yeah, I will attend an intervention class and I'll pass the exams. I'm sorry for you, but you're gonna fail the exams. Why? It is the mindset. It is the mindset, because there are some of you, you know, intervention class is there, so you are not learning. 2 weeks to the exams, 1 week to the exams, you will tour every tuition center organizing interventions, and you will pay money, go to these interventions, and you will still fail the exams. It breaks my heart a lot anytime I read the examiner's timetable. All right, it breaks my heart. That is why now intervention, executive revision masterclass is not open to the public. It's strictly for our students. 3 weeks, we spend time with them, handle their problems, deal with their issues for them, have a one-on-one session with them, strictly for our students, not open to the public. It's strictly for our students. So for those of you who are thinking, sitting down, lazy, not doing anything, and you are waiting that, oh, 2 weeks to the exams, you attend an intervention class and go and take some apport, I'm sorry for you, you are setting yourself up to fail. This is very critical in relation to that. So the first step is your mindset. You must see this paper as something you can pass. You must see these exams as something that is possible. You must see these exams as something that is within your control. You cannot channel that responsibility to somebody else. That's it. That's it. Because when you fail the exams, ICA doesn't lose money. Okay? When you fail the exams, your tuition provider doesn't lose money. When you fail the exams, you lose money, you waste your time, and you go through the emotional trauma. So why will you channel that responsibility to somebody else and not take hold of the responsibility? So that's the first thing I want you to understand. If you're going to position yourself to pass the exams, if you're going to position yourself to prepare well for the exams, if you're going to position yourself in the next 40 days, I want you to rethink yourself, rearrange your thoughts, have a belief in yourself that you're going to be working hard. By the grace of God, you're going to make it. Get rid of fear. Some of you are scared. You think you're going to fail. Some of you have even said that you don't think you are prepared for these exams. You may fail. And you have already started prophesying. And the mind will bring it to pass. The universe will bring it to pass. Because whatever you say and it becomes conscious on your mind, it will manifest. Whatever you think about over a long period of time, it will manifest. So if you are thinking, this exam there, I'm not prepared, though, I'm not sure I can pass, so I'm not sure I can pass, so you will go to the exam hall, write the exams, results will come, and you will fail. Why? Because you have already prophesied your future. So you've got to be careful how to deal with fear. Then your perspective is very, very critical. See it as a cup full of water, not a cup empty of water. This is very critical. Definitely you know some things. Certainly you have some basics. Certainly you have some understanding. So once you have these, let these guide you so that you'll be able to now prepare for your exams and come on that angle in relation to that. That's critical. So that's the first thing I want you to know about the mindset. The mindset. If you deal with your mindset very well, I can guarantee you, you can pass the exams easily, because that is the first thing you must deal with. That's the first strategy you have to note about. Any comments, put them in the chat box for me. I see some comments. Patient said, network challenge. Network challenge right now, or network challenge so you couldn't finish or join your online classes. Patients, network challenge on what? Johnny Do said, at the date of acquisition, intangible asset of 500 for software was in the financial position of the SAP. The parent believed that it has no recoverable amount at the acquisition date, and the SAP wrote it off shortly after acquisition. Okay, John, so what is the question here? Required, prepare financial position. It's part of a note in a question. Okay, so what is the question here? Are you asking me how you treat this item? If there is a software and the parent has recognized that he has no recoverable amount in relation to that at the date of acquisition, then it must be deducted in relation to that. So it must be deducted from the net asset at the date of acquisition for the organization in that case. And since they wrote it off during the year, it has to also. So when we are calculating the net asset of the day at the date of acquisition, that has to be deducted in the computation of your goodwill in relation to that. So patient said, I am on, better now. Okay. So any other questions, you put it in the chat box for me. So after you handle the issue about your mindset, so after you deal with the issue about mindset, then the next thing is to go through this strategy, what I call the academic excellence triangle, the success triangle, academic excellence. John Edu comment mentions, so John Edu is saying that they added the 500 to the post-acquisition profit, which I find it difficult to understand. It has to be added to the post-acquisition profit. The reason why it is added to the post-acquisition profit is that they were having it, okay, in their books. And now we have seen that they are supposed to write it off. So it will be seen as something like a prior period adjustment that is being done. So that is why that 500 will be added to the post-acquisition profit in relation to that. So the idea is that it was in their books and they were supposed to have written it off, and they are now writing it off in relation to that. That is why it will be added to the post-acquisition profit in relation to that. So it is treated as something like a fair value prior period adjustment issue. That is why it is added to the post-acquisition profit. Okay, so I see a comment. Mohammed said, please explain step acquisition in consolidation and how it can be treated. Okay. Then John said, okay, thank you. If any comment, you put it in the chat box for me. Let me get my slide on this. Now, when it comes to the idea about step acquisition, what you are saying here is that the parent has an ownership, or the parent has bought some shares, and the parent is buying additional share in relation to that. And the question we ask ourselves is like, how do we treat it in relation to that? So let me illustrate that to you with some example, then we can understand what has to be done. So let me share this with you. Okay. Now, so in step acquisition, this is level 3, especially corporate reporting, consolidated financial statements. So what happens is that, like I mentioned, a parent has acquired a company and they are acquiring more of what they are, of the company. So what happens here is that there is a transfer from the NCI to the CI. Are you getting the idea? So there's a transfer from the non-controlling interest to the controlling interest. So if there is a transfer from the non-controlling interest to the non-controlling interest, the question is, how do we treat it and how do we go about it in relation to that, which is your question in that case. So what we do is that we need to find out how much value has been transferred. So this is what we do. To determine the transfer from the NCI to the parent, we have to find the value of the NCI at the date of the transfer and transfer the percentage of the acquisition of that to the parent. So let me do or bring an illustration on that to just show you what I mean. So let's say that the parent bought 60% in X. So parent bought 60% in S. Let me do a proper group structure. So P bought 60% of S. And then, so the NCI here is 40%, isn't it? Patience, you said why? Why what? Patience, can you clarify your why for me? Why are you saying why? Okay, so parents bought 60%, and so it's their subsidiary, and NCI is 40%. So let's say that there is now a step acquisition. So the parent is buying more shares in relation to that. Now, if the parent is buying more shares in relation to that, what we do is this, that we find the NCI value before the transfer. So we determine the NCI value before the transfer. So at the date of the transfer, what is the NCI value? And you know this already, that it will be the NCI at acquisition plus their post-acquisition or share of their post-acquisition profit or loss. So that figure is what is coming here in relation to that. Then we transfer. So let's say that the parent is buying 15% more acquisition, or 15% more. So what do? So we say P is buying 15%. So if P is buying 15%, how do we determine the value? So we say transfer to the controlling interest. Be careful here that the NCI is 40%. So we are buying 50% of that. So that is going to be 15 over 40 times the value of the NCI at the date of the transfer. Sorry, sir, I don't mean typing, please. Okay, patience. Mohammed, I believe you are following me. So the NCI value at the date of the transfer, then we take 15 over 40 of that value, and that is the transfer to the NCI. Then when we deduct that, the final figure we get is the NCI value after the transfer. And in my illustration here, it means this will represent 25% of their ownership. So this is how you deal with a transfer. Now, how will this be reflected in the statement of financial, or in the financial statement of the parent in relation to that? Now, what happens is that there will be transfer from the NCI, and we are going to pay a consideration in relation to that. So, you can go this way. Anytime we are buying like this, there will be a reduction to the reserves or retained earnings. So we bring transfer from the NCI. That is how much we got from them, this particular figure here. Chances are we're going to be paying more than that. So fair value of consideration will be brought. And always the fair value of consideration may be more. So we're going to be having a reduction of this to the retained earnings. So this is how we account for it in relation to that. So basically, this net figure will be deducted from the retained earnings in relation to that. Now, if you want a journal entry of this, like how the issue will happen for the calculation that has been done, we could say that you debit the non-controlling interest because they are reducing. Remember, we deducted it. And then we'll credit retained earnings. So group retained earnings at this level. Then this is the cost of the thing we've bought. Then the fair value of consideration, we'll credit our cash book as always. And then we're going to be debiting the retained earnings. So it doesn't affect our stated capital. The effect is actually implemented in the retained earnings. That is why you realize that you are crediting your retained earnings with an amount, but debiting it with another amount which is higher. So the net effect will be a reduction to the retained earnings in relation to that. So Mohammed, this is how you deal with step acquisition. I hope it is clear. Okay. Now, so that is about that answer. Any other questions, please put it in the chat box for me and I'll answer all for you. Right, so let's go back to the exam strategy on how we can prepare for the exam. So remember, I've spoken to you about the mindset. the way you see things, the way you look at things in relation to that. Now, let me say this, especially to the ladies watching. And if you have a girlfriend or a wife, something like that, you need to share this with them. If you're a female, you've got to understand something critical when it comes to how you study. Why is this important? Because you need to understand your menstrual cycle. I've shared this before on the channel on how to study for the examination. Now, there are 4 phases of your menstrual cycle, 4 phases. And you must understand all the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle in order for you to know what is happening to your body. We have the menstrual phase, we have the follicular phase, we have the ovulation phase, and we have the luteal phase. Now, why is this important? Because at each stage of your menstrual cycle, there are different hormones that are released. There are times you're going to feel dizzy, you're going to feel sleepy, you don't feel like talking to anybody, you don't feel like doing anything. So you must monitor which stage or which phase of your menstrual cycle you are at, how your mind is working, so you can position yourself and maximize yourself. So that if you are at a phase or within a period where your mind is not stable, you cannot study, you're not motivated to study, you don't beat yourself up. Because there are sometimes, ladies, you're going to be understanding that you cannot pick book because maybe you are at the menstrual phase where you are having some cramps, you are having some mood swings, you are having some bloating, you are having some irritabilities, you are having some headaches, you are having some tiredness, or you are having some low back pain. So at the menstrual phase like that, you may not be comfortable to study, but probably things are going to be changing when you get to something like the ovulation stage or the follicular phase. Because at that time, your mood is going to change. You may be more confident, you may be more active, you may be more willing, more sensual to things. And at that phase, you'll be active, you'll be productive, and you can maximize and do a lot of things at that stage. So for all the ladies and for all the females, please make sure that you understand the phase you are at in your menstrual cycle, the 4 phases where you are at, how your moods are, what is happening, so you don't force yourself. Because if you force yourself, you will not be productive. You can attest to it for all the ladies who are watching that there are times you don't feel like learning, or you are going through something, your mind, your mood is like you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't want to pick book. It's normal. And there is another time, maybe just after 1 week of that, now you feel energetic, you want to do things, you want to hang around people, you want to think, you want to work on ideas. It is normal. It is natural. You have to identify when you are productive and maximize yourself on that stage. So for all the ladies, make sure you take note of that. I'm not a health expert or whatever it is, but this is psychological for your brain to be able to know when your brain is working well, so you can optimize yourself in relation to that. Patient said menstrual, follicular, ovulation, and luteal or luteal. Let me put that in the chat box for you. Luteal. Sorry, I spell it wrong. Luteal. So these are the 4 phases, and that's all about that. So all the ladies, make sure you know the phase you are at, what is happening in your body, then you can take advantage of it. Okay, Patience said, really helpful. Thanks, sir. You are welcome, Patience. So all ladies, now all the guys watching, Edu and Mohammed and all of the guys, Jonas, Samuel, Avoka, Charles, Enoch, all of you guys, share it with your female colleagues. It's very critical so that you help them. You know, Sometimes your friend will come and say, oh, I can't study. I don't know if I pick book, it's not going through. Don't insult them. Okay, it's not them. Because maybe she's menstruating, all right? That's why she's experiencing that, and she's having some cramps, she's having some mood swings, she's tired, she's having some headaches, she's having some low back, but she can't tell you about it because sometimes she's shy to tell you that I'm having this, you know, that kind of thing, right? But you got to be intelligent about this, and this is why, as a guy, you must know a lot about a woman so you can help them better. You got it? Give me a thumbs up. All right. So that's for the ladies. Now the guys, don't be jealous and ask me, how about the guys? I don't have anything for you guys. All right. So how do you structure yourself to really study and prepare well for the exams? I'm going to share with you something that I share with my inner circle students, and that is going to be the issue in relation to the success triangle, the academic success triangle. Mohammed said thanks. You are welcome, Mohammed. Now, in my opinion, in order for you to study and prepare well for your examination, there are three phases or three stages you go through. So in these 40 days that we have, less than 40 days, if you want to position yourself, you want to pass your exams, you need to go through these three phases. I'm going to explain these to you so you understand them carefully. And I want you to stay with me very well on this. The first one is principles or concepts. So basic principles or concepts. You see, every subject you are writing has some basic principles, some fundamental issues that you must understand. Financial reporting, if you are writing financial reporting, the bedrock of financial reporting is accounting standards. If you are writing management accounting, the bedrock of management accounting is understanding the issues in relation to dealing with marginal costing, the issue about dealing with absorption costing. You must understand the basic principles. If you're writing, how do we call it? Public sector accounting and finance, you must understand the basic principles in relation to revenue and expenditure management. You must understand that IPSAS is the bedrock there, because if you are good in revenue and expenditure management, you can prepare the financial statement. If you are good in revenue and expenditure management, you can do the ratio analysis. So in the PSA, you must understand the basic principles, the basic concepts. What are the basic topics in relation to that? If you're writing strategic case study, what are the basic principles here? You must understand the modules that you have to focus on in order for you to pass the examination. And in case you are not aware, I have gone through the key modules that you need for all strategic case study students. I've classified the modules into various areas that you need to look out and go into in relation to that. When it comes to organizational structure, organizational culture, you must understand the Charles Handy's types of organizational structure. Then you come to environmental analysis. You must understand the external environment, and that is the PISTL module. The international environment, that is the Porter's diamond. The industry and competitive analysis, that is the Porter's 5 forces. Stakeholder and scenario, you must understand stakeholder mapping, scenario planning. Internal environment, you must understand the Porter's value chain analysis, the SWOT analysis, the gap analysis. When it comes to strategic modules for strategic options, you must understand the Porter's generic modules, the strategic clock, the product life cycle, and the list goes on and on. You must understand the basic principles. If you're writing taxation, it goes the same way. There are some basic issues you must understand about taxation in relation to tax administration. That is basic. the principles in relation to corporate tax, and the principles in relation to income tax liabilities, VAT, withholding tax administration. These are basics. So the subject you are writing, you have to ask yourself, what are the pillars of the subject that I'm writing? We have less than 40 days. And in order for you to optimize, in order for you to position yourself, in order for you to prepare well for the examination, you must understand the basic principles of the subjects. Every subject has its basic principles, and you must understand it. So that is the first thing I want you to look at. Now, somebody is going to say, Nhyira, I don't know. It's like I'm not prepared for this exam. Or, hey, ICA, they want to chop our money again. Or, I've told you already, don't be saying those things, because when you say it, you are prophesying your failure. So you got to stop saying that. So here you must identify, at this point, you must know your strength as an individual in relation to that. And then your weaknesses. So if you're writing FR, what accounting standards don't you understand? Okay, maybe you are good in relation to IAS 16, IAS 23, or so list the things you are good at and list the things you have challenges in, which are part of the basic principles in relation to that. This is very, very important. If you're writing management accounting, find out what areas are you good at, what areas aren't you good at. You must understand at this point your strength and your weakness. What topics that in case you don't even read it again and it goes and you go into the exam and there is a question on it, you can answer. What topics? You must know these. That is the first thing, understanding the basic principles or concepts of the subject. That is the first level, that's the first phase for you to prepare and pass the exams. For you to prepare and pass the exams. So ask yourself right now, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What don't I know? What do I know? Because somebody will say, Nhyira, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Now, if at this stage you don't know the things you are strong in and you don't know your problem, then you really have a big problem. I have to be frank with you. You've got to sit down and assess yourself. Look at the syllabus, look at the course outline, look at the topics available. Which topics do we have that should you not study it again, you go to the exam hall and you see it, you can do it. That is your strength. Then which areas do you have problems in? That is your weakness. So once you identify your weaknesses, then quickly you can start what? Watching some lecture videos on my channel or attending lectures and telling your lecturer about it. That is if you do any Q&A session where you are attending lectures. So you ask your lecturer about it and it can be re-explained for you in relation to that. So that is the first level. That is the first level. In less than 30 days, in less than 40 days, what you want to do is to find out what are the basic principles. Like I mentioned, for financial reporting, you've got to be strong in your accounting standards because you're going to have a 20 mark on accounting standard. You're going to have a question on single entity financial statement. That is also going to be based on accounting standards. And then you're going to be having the question 5, the no man's land theory area, which can also be partly accounting standard and ethics. So you realize that accounting standard actually going to be accounting standards going to be cutting across a couple of angles on the syllabus in relation to that. So that is what you have to understand when it comes to the first thing, the basic principles, the basic concept. So I want you to sit down tonight. Don't ask me, Nhyira, what are the basic things I have to focus on? I've given you some glimpse. I've told you when it comes to FR, you need to be strong in accounting standards. You need to be strong in ethics. We are there. There is a question waiting for you on standards. We are there. Now, don't ask me, Nhyira, what standards are coming. No, that's not what we're talking about here. Basic principles, understand the standards. Nhyira, what standards should I learn? Learn all the standards. Hey, Nhyira, we have only 40 days so, or less than 40 days. So when will I finish learning all the standards? You can do it in 3 days if you are serious. So it goes back again to the mindset in relation to that. So what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Now, share with me in the chat box. For those of you who are watching, share with me in the chat box. What subjects are you writing? What do you see as your weaknesses? And let me provide you with some strategies real quick on what you have to do in order to deal with it in relation to that. So if you are watching the stream, you are here with me, comment below. What subjects are you writing and what do you see as your weakness? And let me provide you with some strategies real quick in relation to how you can position yourself to become successful, because I want you to pass this exam. I want you to really pass this exam. Why? Because you cannot pay the money, you cannot study all the night, you cannot tell your friends, I'm writing ICA, and at the end of the day, you fail. It's bad. It won't glorify God. You cannot praise God well. So I want you to pass so you can take your life to the next level. So comment in the chat box, what papers are you writing and what are your weaknesses? And let me provide you with some subject-specific strategies. I'm waiting on you. Share with me real quick. What subjects are you writing and what are your weaknesses? Any weakness that you think you have. So I give you some straight up strategy on that. So that is the first thing, basic principles in relation to that. So Andrew Opon said FR and MA. Andrew, in FR, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? In MA, what do you see as your strength? What do you see as your weaknesses? I'm more interested in your weaknesses so I can provide you with some real strategies. So put it in the chat box for me. What do you think are your weaknesses for FR or MA? You can put it in the chat box for me. So I provide you with some real-time strategies on subject specific. I don't want to generalize weaknesses in relation to that. Now remember, for those of you who are writing FR, let me give you some data. Last semester, 80% of the students scored less than 40%. 80% of students scored less than 40%. This is from the examiner's report. It's not Nhyira who is saying it. 80% of students scored less than 40%. What it means is that if 1,000 students sat for the exams, 800 of them scored less than 40%. It tells you that the pass rate was really, really nothing to write home about. Why is that happening? The examiner raised a couple of concerns on that. Where's my examination analysis? So this is our examination analysis. I know you can see it. This is for our students here in relation to that. Some of the things that the examiner raised was inadequate preparation by candidates, lack of understanding in financial reporting standards. Financial reporting standards. So for those of you who are writing FR, I don't know, but you gotta work hard. You gotta really, really, really work hard. Because if 80% of students would score less than 40%, that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. That is why I'm telling you, it is not about attending any intervention class. You gotta sit down, work hard, understand the basic principles, practice a lot of questions, understand the exam structure, and position yourself for the exams. It's not about attending intervention class. Because all these students, chances are they attended intervention class. But look at the results. It is not about intervention class. It's about you sitting down and studying hard. Andrew said, my problem most is speed. Okay, so Andrew, it means that you don't have problem with like topics, understanding, or principles, but your problem is speed. That is your inability to finish as much as possible. Now, so to deal with that issue, you've got to start practicing questions under time. Okay, so you practice questions under time. So from now till you enter the exam hall, anytime you are solving question, put time on it and find out. Now, I've already illustrated this to you that every 1 mark, you need to use about 1.9 minutes. Okay, for every 1 mark, 1.9 minutes in relation to that. So if you need 1.9 minutes, if you are solving a 7-mark question, you do the max. You do the max, sorry, or you do the calculation. If you are solving a 10-mark question, you do the calculation in relation to that. So you know the time reasonably you can be using. So that can help you to work with speed and accuracy. Now, Andrew, I want you to also be careful about speed. You remember in just a statement I made, I said speed and accuracy. You need to be a bit speedy, but you've got to make sure you are accurate, because sometimes people make a statement that I don't like to hear, that the mind is faster, sorry, the hand is faster than the mind. Now, if you make such dumb statements, you're going to fail the exams. So even though you're going to be going with speed, you want to write fast, you got to make sure that you are in tune. And Nuntina, you must review your work. So in the exam hall, after you finish everything, when you hear get ready to stop work, I tell my students this: stop everything you are doing and go over what you have written already. Now, this is where people don't like. They will say, Nhyira, this is where the apport is coming. You said I should stop and go over my work. Ah, Nhyira, what are you saying? No. There is a proverb or a saying in Tree that says that more echo ako edidi embaya yenkebingum. In other words, the sheep or the flock that has gone eating or grazing, if they aren't back, we don't add another. So what you've written, you don't even know if they are right or wrong. You are still adding a lot of things, which will end up making a lot of wrongs. So get ready to stop work, stop everything, put your pen down, go over everything you have done, because chances are, like the way your hand will be going faster than your brain, there is an article and there you didn't bring, or there is a spelling that the word that you are spelling that you've not spelled well. You can do that correction, and so that you kind of perfect what you've done so far. Then if you still have some time left, then you come and continue in relation to that. This is something that can save you. This is something that can save you. So please, I tell my students all the time, and they are like, Nhyira, I know they won't do it. And many of them don't do it in relation to that. But I'm telling you, it's a best practice. It's something that you need to do. Get ready to stop work. It's around 5 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on what the invigilator wants to say. So get ready to stop work and be 15 minutes more or 5 minutes more. So you use 3 minutes. Go over it. It doesn't hurt. You correct everything, and then you now proceed in relation to that. Because if what you are writing under the pressure of get ready to stop work is not something good, something rubbish that you are writing, and you don't even know you are writing rubbish at that time, and you've written a lot of rubbish as well in the past, then everything in the nutshell will be rubbish. Because you finish, your results come and you get like 10, 15, 23. It tells you that you were joking in the exam hall, but in your heart, you wrote, oh boy, everything you were writing was nothing to write home about. So why am I talking about this like that? It's because of the issue in relation to speed and accuracy. So work with time when you are practicing questions, and when you get to the exam or get ready to stop work, go over everything in relation to that. I know that can assist you. Charles said, I'm fast in understanding the calculation on both subjects, but the reading aspect is my problem. Now, Charles, The reading aspect is not your problem, okay? Your problem is you lack focus when you are reading. That is your problem. You lack attention. That is your problem. Nobody has a problem. Some people say, hey, Nhyira, when I read, I don't understand. Or when I read, it doesn't stick. When I read the next morning, no, I forget. Nobody has a memory problem. You have focus and attention problem. Focus and attention problem. If you pay attention to something, now, why are you good at the calculation? You are good at the calculation because when you are doing it, you are involved, you are active, you are focusing on it, you are calculating, you are punching, you are writing, so you are involved. But when you are doing the reading, you cross your leg, listening to some music, then you are reading. No, 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 no. So your problem is focus and attention. Now, this cuts across to all of you guys. Those of you who say the reading subject there, I can't know. Your problem is focus. Your problem is attention. So re-strategize yourself. Be active. I shared a strategy on how to study and retain everything using the FAST strategy. You can watch that video on my channel. You need to forget everything you know about the subject. You need to be active. You need to look at your state of mind and always learn as though you are going to teach it. So Charles, change your perspective, change your mindset, change your environment, and change your approach or stature, if I can say that, when you are reading. The way you are active doing the calculation, be active when you are reading. That is why it is effective that when you are reading, you'll be writing. So you read one page, close it up, take your notepad or take your jotter, rewrite it down. It's not word for word, but try to recollect, okay? Or read 3 pages and then try to write it out what you have. Then sometimes if you get up in the morning, after doing your quiet time, praying and whatever it is, before you jump on your phone and put on your data to see messages that people have sent and all of those things, what you can do is to grab a notepad and try to write what you remember about what you studied yesterday. When you do that, you are streamlining your brain. You are training your brain. You are enabling your brain to be attentive, to be focused, and over a period of time, reading subjects will be interesting to you. I hated reading in high school. I did not like reading at all. I didn't like reading because, I mean, it's boring, but I was good at the calculation. I enjoyed the calculation. The reading things I liked were things like biology. And you all like biology, right? Because, I mean, biology, it's free. In the biology class, you can express yourself free. And so that biology I liked, but the other reading things, I didn't like them. So it was after high school that I really learned how I can refocus. I realized that my problem is not that I hate reading subjects. My problem was I wasn't focusing. I wasn't attentive when I'm reading. And so now, that is why I'm able to do what I do now, publish 13 books, currently working to be releasing 5 new books, maybe around next month, and that will be 18 books in total in relation to that. So focus and attention is critical. That is what has helped me practical and can help you. So Charles Zuli said, thanks, sir, for helping me identify my problem. That's awesome, Charles. So focus, attention, it can help you. Any other comments, please put it in the chat box for me. Chosi Machado. Whoa. If I mention your name wrong, forgive me, okay? Chosi Machado said, how can I learn to do adjusting entries? What do you mean by that? I have books with adjusting entries, additional information question, but no answer. So I don't even know what would be the correct entry. Okay, so Josie Machado, sorry if I don't mention your name well. What I would recommend is that watch a lot of YouTube videos on adjusting entries, okay? So you can understand the basic principles. If you understand the basic principles, then what you are doing will help you. Then get some books that will have solutions in them. Okay, get some books that will have solution in them so that when you solve, you can compare your solution. And there are a lot of books that you can Google and get online about that. Then another thing I will also suggest is that get a mentor. All right, get somebody who can really assist you in relation to that. So if it is your problem, get a mentor, get somebody that can assist you, that knows better than you, who you can speak to. When you finish solving the question, you can send it to the person. The person can look at and say, okay, this one is wrong. This is what you are going to do. That is a mentor. So get somebody who can assist you there in relation to that. So Chosi Machado, that is what I would say in relation to that. So 3 things I've said. Watch some YouTube videos on that. Once you watch some YouTube videos, you will be able to understand the basic entries and make them. Number 2, get some books that will have solutions to the questions. And then number 3, get a mentor if possible. Now, for those of you, this is general, not to Chosi Machado, it's general. For those of you who don't attend lectures and you say you are doing self-study, it's a challenging field. It's a challenging field. If you are doing self-study, then you should create time, watch videos, read articles, and really prepare for the exams. If you put 10 people down to do self-study, chances are only 1 out of the 10 people can really prepare for the exams. So find out, get a mentor, pay the person if it's possible, because it's critical. When you become a chartered accountant or you qualify, you're going to make more money, all right? And you have to give something to get something in return in relation to that. So 3 things: watch some YouTube videos, get books that have solution in them, and then get a mentor if possible. Samuel Quason said, Nhyira, could you touch on how to use your 3 modules, that is concept, examination analysis, and practicing in passing exams, taking into consideration that we have 40 days left? Yes, that is what I'm doing, Samuel. That's what I'm doing, but some questions came on, so I needed to address them as well. That's what I'm looking at. So number 1, as I mentioned, that understand the basic concept. We have 40 days to go. If I were you, I would trick my brain that there are only 30 days left or even 25 days left. That will put my brain under pressure for me to work more, for me to sleep less, for me to... Now, I'm not telling you to sleep less. I'm not a doctor or medical advisor, but I'm just talking about sacrificing. So, you know, you got to trick your brain. So even though we have 40 days, you can tell your brain we have 25 days. So you squeeze everything into 25 days. So depending on the subject you are writing, I don't want you to prepare any fancy personal timetable. You won't use it, so don't prepare it. What I want you to do is to identify, like I mentioned, your strengths and weaknesses, and then focus on those things and then work hard on those things. Now, once you understand the basic principles, once you understand the basic concept, you move on to the next stage, and that is the examination analysis document. Now, this is a huge aspect. The examination analysis document is about understanding the structure of the examination, what the examiner has examined on, and what the examiner is likely to be examining going into the future. Now, this is not made for everybody. You need somebody who is really good to be able to do the examination analysis for you, or you can do it in relation to that if you want to. Now, there's our examination analysis document on FR, on MA, on public sector, corporate reporting, all of them, like we have them here. Now, I just want to give you a tidbit of what an examination analysis document looks like. For instance, when it comes to financial reporting, we realized that question 1 was on consolidated financial statements. Question 2 was on standards. Question 3 was on single entity. Question 4 was about interpretation. Question 5 was theories. But what are the details in all of these aspects? Okay, when it comes to the consolidated financial statements, it was consolidated financial position. What were the things the examiner said? Percentage of ownership wasn't given. Number of shares were given. So it means that you needed to calculate the percentage of ownership. The fair value of consideration in the November 2019 had two components, the cash consideration and the deferred payment. There was an intragroup trading where the parent is selling to the subsidiary. There was a fair value adjustment, but the fair value adjustment here was not the traditional one you knew about. It was a fair value adjustment about inventory, and then the NCI value, no impairment on goodwill. This is like an analysis. When it comes to the standards, we had IAS 12, IAS 16, IFRS 16, IAS 10. But what were the specific questions? This is what you need to understand. Now, why do you need this? Definitely, there's going to be a consolidated financial statement question. Definitely, there's going to be an accounting standard question. Definitely, there's going to be a single entity question. What you are doing at this stage of the examination analysis document is finding out the structure of the examination and the languages that the examiner is using. And then you can now determine what is likely to happen in the exam hall. So once you understand the basic principles, the basic concepts, have an idea of the examination trend, what is happening. Now, if you're writing ACCA, usually, and you are using BPP, when you flip the book, you realize that I think the first 4 pages, you will see the examination analysis, and you will see the areas that the examiner has been examining on. Then you can know where you can focus on in relation to that. So once you understand the basic principles, you have the examination analysis, then you can now go to the third stage, and that is to practice questions. Please listen to me carefully. Many people skip step 1, step 2, and they'll be practicing questions. Don't start solving questions if you don't understand the basic principles. Because sometimes, I don't know who propagated that. They said that if you solve a lot of past questions, you will pass the exams. So people will download questions from 1963 and they will be solving all of them. They will go to the exam hall and they will be overwhelmed and nothing will happen. They will pick any question or every question and they can't solve it. Why? Because you lack the basic principles. So Samuel, at this time, in relation to that, you need to understand the basic principles, have the examination analysis document, and then you practice questions. Now, when I say practice questions, I don't just mean ICA past questions, because I see a lot of things in that regard as well, which I don't want to talk about, but people print their past questions and they are selling it out. I don't know who does that. And it's not that they have really done a professional note on the past question, just the past questions on the ICA website and they are selling it. The thing is available on the public and then you are selling it as well. So I'm not saying go and solve ICA past questions from 1963 to 2020. No, that's not what I'm saying. Get some ICA questions yet, get some ACCA questions if possible, and get some questions as well from other sources. Look at your question bank or question kit, the ICA question bank or question kit. Make sure you buy that. There are a lot of questions in that and they can help you to understand the question. And whilst you are solving these, whilst you are practicing these, make sure that you are timing yourself. Because remember, timing is very, very important. That was what I was sharing with Charles on. So make sure that you practice a lot of questions. Like I mentioned, don't solve. I know some of you will say, okay, baby, I do need the yeah, but solve past questions, Nisa. If you do that, your chances of passing the exams is low. Because your success in the exams is not dependent on how many questions you solve. Your success in the exams is dependent on your understanding of the subject and the understanding you have of the structure of the examination. So it is not about how many questions you solve. It's about your understanding and understanding of the structure of the examination. This is very, very critical. This is very, very critical. So these are the three things I want you to focus on. Number one, the mindset, and then number two, the success, academic success triangle. Understand the basic principles, have an examination analysis document, and then practice a lot of questions. I see a couple of questions in the chat box. Let me look at them. Okay, someone question said, thank you. I went offline for a while. Thank you. Okay. Emmanuel 8 said, FM, weakness is risk management, hedging against currency risk. Now, Ima, your weakness is not risk management, hedging currency. Your weakness is lack of understanding of the basic principle. The topic, the reason why you are having challenge with that aspect is the basic principles. When it comes to hedging of foreign currency, you must understand the internal hedging techniques and then the external techniques in relation to that, like invoicing in home country currency, netting off, matching, like those kind of things. Those are the internal. And then the external, forward contract, money market hedge, options. So go back to the principles, go back to the basics and understand the basics. Now on my YouTube channel, I have videos here on risk management. So you can go to the playlist after watching this stream for sure. Let me look at the name of the playlist so you can watch that video so you can deal with that issue. I think the playlist is Understanding Financial Management. That is the name of the playlist. As of today, there are 44 videos in that playlist. And I did some series on risk management. I covered everything from the introduction to the risk hedging you are talking about. I covered everything there. So you can check that playlist out so that you can the basic principles so you can handle that problem in relation to that. Any other questions for me? Let me know the subject you are writing, your specific weakness, and let me provide you with some specific strategies so that you can study in these 40 days and prepare for the exams in relation to that. Like I mentioned, tomorrow I'm going to be sharing with you a sneak peek into our examination analysis document. Not a full thing, but I'll give you some guide on some key areas you have to focus on almost all the subjects so that you can narrow down yourself studying on key areas in relation to a comment. So you are saying that one of your problems, and then, okay, so budgeting, of budgeting. Is it the thing? Definitely the whole budgeting, of budgeting, that is a reading area. Then there's a problem. That's what you need to look at, okay? The methods of budgeting, you must understand them. So made a video on budgeting and budgetary control. I think it's a two-part video on the preparation of budget and the procedure of budgeting. That is available on the channel and that can help you in relation to that. So Charles, make sure you check that out in the playlist titled Fundamentals in Management Accounting or Management Accounting Fundamentals. As of today, we are having 49 videos in that playlist. You can go to that playlist. There are a lot of things there you can get in relation to that. Andrew Upon Beko said, sir, please, do you have video on mixed yield and variance? No. On YouTube, currently, we don't have videos on these, but they are included certainly on our online courses where you can get access to the full course in relation to that. So we don't have those videos currently available on YouTube on the channel here, but we have it as part of our online courses that you can get access to in relation to that. Okay. Any other questions for me, please? Let me know your area of challenge and let me provide you with some key strategies. Your area of challenge and let me provide you with some key strategies. So what we've been trying to talk about today is that number one, we have 40 days to go. You've got to deal with your mindset. See it as the cup half full and not the cup half empty. Because when you see it as the cup half full, you know something already. You have some understanding already. So now you're going to work on the other half that you don't know. You're going to work on the other part that you don't have an idea about. That is something that is critical. That is something that is important. Then after you deal with the mindset, you come to the academic success triangle. Understand the basic principles, the basic concepts of all subjects. Make sure you have an examination analysis document. Understand the structure of the examination. Understand the languages that the examiner is going to be using. 3 days ago, I shared with you the verbs that are used by the examiner. When they say discuss, what do you do? When they say explain, what do you do? When they say assess, when they say analyze, what do you do? I've discussed that with you. Make sure that, and I told you can download the document on the ACCA website and you can get that as well and go through it. Because you see, many a times it is not that you don't know, but a lot of time digression sets in the exam hall. Because sometimes the question that has been asked, you know, but the way the question is asked, the requirement of the question, you may write below the requirement or you may write in excess of the requirement. So you see a 2-mark question and people are writing 5 pages and 5 lines and 6 lines on a 2-mark question. I don't know what you are answering with that kind of thing though, but you need to be straight to the point. It's not the volume of what you write that will be marked. It's the sense in it that is going to be marked in relation to that. And so you realize that brevity is very, very important. Going straight to the point is very, very important if you are preparing for the examination. Then, like I mentioned, make sure you practice a lot of questions. Make sure you practice a lot of questions. So any other questions for me, please? Any other questions? So your exams, it's coming on the 13th of July, and it follows the same order, only that you'll be writing the exams 9:30 as compared to the 9 o'clock, and then 2:30 as compared to the 2 o'clock in relation to that. So you got to take note of that as well in that case. So 13th July, the exams is starting. If you do the maths very well, you realize that you have like something like 39 days to go. So less than 40 days really in relation to that. Now, let me touch on study style or learning techniques real quick. One thing you must understand is that we all learn differently. The way I learn will be different from the way you learn. And the way Charles will learn may be different from the way Samuel will learn. So the question is, how do you study? What's the study style that you're going to be adopting in order for you to become careful or for you to pass the exams in relation to that? This is what I want you to understand. The best way to study is for you to read and write, especially for the reading subjects. You read and you write. Now, there are some of you, when you read once, you understand and you get it. But there are others, you have to read it over and over and over again. It's not that you are dumb. That's how you are. So once you know who you are, it's very important. That is why self-identification is very important, or what is normally called self-discovery. You must understand who you are, how your mind works. That is why in the beginning, I spoke to you about the ladies and their menstrual cycle, about the fact that they go through 4 phases in their menstrual cycle. And so if you don't understand the phase you are in, you don't know the hormones that are coming in, you don't know your emotions and what you are supposed to do in relation to that. So you need a self-discovery and identify how is it that when I study, or how can I study and become better? So for reading subjects, you need to read and write. So get a notepad for that, or you can get your jotter, buy some A4 or buy some official papers and use that in relation to that. Then for the calculation subjects, definitely you need to solve a lot of questions. So you practice question a lot, a lot. I can't say how many you should solve. I don't mean go and solve from 1963 to 2000. At least get questions from ICA, get question, like I said, a question kit, very important in relation to that. So for calculation questions, you need to practice a lot and solve a lot of questions in relation to that. I see another comment from Savvy279. He said, I'm doing MA. My weakness is calculations. I get confused as I am doing it and get lost in it. Okay, Savvy, your question is big. So let me give you a big answer. So Savi said, I am doing MA. My weakness is calculations. I get confused as I am doing it and get lost in it. Savi, your problem is calculation, but your problem is not calculation. Number one, if you are solving the questions and you get confused and you get lost, it means number one, you lack understanding of the topic. So you got to go back and study. So understanding the basic principles. If it's a break-even analysis question, what do you understand? What are the basic principles of a break-even? Why do we do it? If it is about short-term decisions, what are the principles? You must understand it. If it is about a limiting factor analysis decision, how do you do it? If it's a throughput question, what is the basic principles about that? If it is absorption costing, you must understand. So the reason why you are getting confused, it's because you don't understand the topics. So you got to go back, pretend as though you are starting all over and understand the topics. Now, partly why you are getting confused is also the issue in relation to focus, lack of focus and attention, which I spoke to you about earlier. I don't know if you were on that time. So lack of focus and lack of attention can also be there. Now, if you are solving a question and you are not doing well and you are getting confused and you get lost in it, it tells me that whilst you were studying, you were not focusing. Whilst you were studying, you were not paying attention. Probably that is why you are getting confused. Now, even though this question was asked by Savvy, I know there are a lot of you guys who go through this. You are solving the questions and you get confused and you get lost. And so it discourages people and they don't learn. So they will just be there, and they don't get the excitement to pick up a book. It's because you lack the basic principles. It's because you aren't focused. It's because you aren't paying attention. Because if you understand the basic principles, you are focused, you are attentive, then you cannot get confused in what you are doing in relation to that. So savvy 279, that is what I would say to you. Go back, learn the basic principles in management accounting. Every topic has a basic principles. Shut down, there is a rule about it. Make or buy, there is a rule there. Throughput, there is a rule there. Limiting factor, there is a rule there. Variance analysis, budgeting, absorption costing, activity-based costing, marginal costing. There are basic rules. Go back and go over them very well. Then make sure you create an environment that enables you to focus. For those of you who study and your data is on and your phone is lying beside you and you are spying, and when the message comes, you pick the phone up and you go and reply the message and you come back to your book, you are not focusing, you are not attentive. Your mind will tell you, or your mind will see that you are joking. So your mind will not retain anything. So that's why you finish learning and you say that I don't remember anything. Yes, you can't remember anything because you didn't focus. You were not attentive. You were rather on your social media. Listen, this phone is a tool. Social media is a tool. You have to use it. Don't allow it to use you in relation to that. So that is what I would say. And like I mentioned, this actually cuts across not only to Savvy 279. So Savvy, let me know if what I've said is helpful for you. Kelvin Kamara said, you are presently making impact around the globe. Wow, Kelvin, thank you very much for that. Isaac Idiom said, please help me. I have written FR so many times. Oh, Isaac, sorry about that, okay? Now, Isaac, let me provide you with some strategy. Let me provide you with some real-time strategy here, Isaac. And I want you to pay close attention to me here in relation to that. Again, this problem actually cut across. There are a lot of you, you've written some papers like 5 times, 3 times, 2 times. You all fall into this category. Now, Isaac, if you have written FR many times, this is what it means. Number one, you are having a problem that I call full of self. Or maybe let me put it this, egoism. Let me call it that way. Now, I'm going to be real with you here. So just be tough to take it, okay? Egoism. Now, what do I mean by egoism? You see, when you write the paper the first time and you fail, the second time you told yourself that, oh, I know the thing already, so Charlie, some small revision. Or maybe you had 44, or you had 49, or you had 47. So you said, oh, the thing now I know already, so I just need some revision. That is what we call egoism. So you don't study, you're not serious, you think your problem is just this. So you wait 1 week to the exams before you pick your book. Maybe you attend some intervention class, you go to the exam hall and you fail again. So your problem is egoism. Now, I've had people who call me and tell me about this, Nhyira, I failed many times and I want to study under your mentorship. The first thing I tell them is this thing, egoism. I tell them, get rid of your ego. You don't know anything. But if you are full of yourself, yes, I've written the paper before and I know the thing, then you've closed your mind. It goes back to the principle about fast that I shared with you. Forget about everything you know about the subject. Be active when you are studying. Check your state of mind and learn as though you are going to teach it. But if you are full of yourself, you think you know the thing already, if you are learning it again, you already have a preconceived understanding of the thing, and there is no way you will understand. There are students in the past, I literally have to beg them to come for lectures because they said, oh, Nhyira, I know already. Then I beg them to come for lectures. After they come for lectures and they sit down for 1 or 2 lectures, they are like, I've not heard this before. I didn't know this is how it is. Then I tell them, you see why I said you were full of yourself? So egoism You got to go back. So pretend as though you don't know anything about financial reporting. Pretend as though you've not written it before, and approach the subject as a juvenile. Approach the subject as a new recruit. Approach the subject literally as though you are starting it. When you do that, your mind will now be open up and you can study the thing. Because I can guarantee you, because you've written the paper more than once, when you are studying something, your mind tells you, oh, way minim dada. Way minim dada. This one I know already. So because of that, you won't pay attention to understand. There are different levels of IAS 16. There are different levels of borrowing cost. There are different levels of consolidation. There are different levels of interpretation of financial statements. So you may think you know, but if you don't keep quiet and the person teaching to teach you well, you may fail. So that is the first thing I want you to deal with, Isaac, and this cut across to everybody. Humble and get rid of your ego, the fact that you know everything. So once you deal with the ego, that's the first thing in relation to that. Once you deal with the ego thing there, get rid of. Now, it's very hard to get rid of your ego. It's very hard, but you need to get rid of it. At my level and where I am now, I don't see myself as anything, because the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know anything. So even after now publishing 18 books on the ICA and ACCA syllabus, I still feel I don't know, and I'm still learning every time, and I feel insecure every time. Why? Because that is it. I don't know. But if you think you know, then you don't know anything. So egoism is the first level. Get rid of it. So once you get rid of your ego, then now you got to study. Okay, you got to study. So you go back to the success triangle I shared a moment ago in relation to that. Understand the basic principles of financial reporting. What are the basic principles? Understand all the accounting standards very well. Very important. Get an examination analysis document. Get a mentor. Isaac, as a matter of fact, I want you to WhatsApp me. As a matter of fact, I want you to WhatsApp me. You need to get a mentor. 050-114-9296. Send me a message on WhatsApp, Isaac. 050-114-9296. Isaac, I want you to WhatsApp me. And now, anybody else who is watching who has written a paper more than once, please send me a message on WhatsApp. I want to mentor you. And it will cost you money. It's not free. Let me tell you this, because it will cost you money. So you need to get a mentor, somebody who will be able to get rid of some of the things that you have within you and really nurture you and show you the way on how you can pass the exams easily. So send me a message on WhatsApp, Isaac, and anybody else who has written any paper more than once, so I can deal with you or I can assist you in relation to that. And like I said, it's not free for you to know that. JC said, thanks, boss. Thanks, boss. Bexin J said, the egoism part is so me. Okay, so Bexin J, you need to get rid of your ego, all right? You need to get rid of your ego. You don't know, okay? And there is a saying that says that he who knows not and does not know he knows not is a fool, but he who knows not and knows he knows not, it's wise. So you don't know. I tell people this: if you fail the exams, it means you don't know anything. Okay? If you fail an exam, I don't care how many times, I don't care who taught you. If you fail the exams, it means you don't know anything. So you got to start from scratch. Understand the basic principles, get an examination analysis document, then practice a lot of questions. Now, I know somebody will say that, Nhyira, I've solved all the questions in the world. You are a liar. You will not solve all the questions in the world. It's a lie. It's a lie. I know somebody who's saying, Nhyira, I've solved all questions. It's a lie. I can give you some questions and you look at it and you'll be like, is this an FR question? Yes. Because it will open your brain and cause you to think very well in relation to that. So egoism, deal with that, deal with your ego. You are full of yourself in relation to that, deal with that. Understand the basic principles about financial reporting. This is very harsh, and that's how I am. I'm going to be real with you, and Charlie, I got to be real with you, right? Because if I pamper you at the back, oh, if you know, continue to do it, dabi, oh, if you make mistakes, you will go and fail again. So deal with these issues in that case. So understand the basic principles, get an examination analysis document, and practice a lot of questions. Josie Machado said, you mentioned you publish books. Are they available for purchase? Yes, they are available on Amazon. So you can you can go to Amazon and search for Nhyira Premium, and you can get them to buy the Kindle version or the hardcover, and the delivery can be done anywhere you are. But if you're in Ghana, you can still call this number 050-114-9296, and you can definitely get copies of the books in relation to that. Bexin J. Now, Isaac Idiom, are you here? Okay, thank you, sir. I will WhatsApp you after the lesson. Awesome. So you make sure you WhatsApp me. Bexin J said, I have written FR so many times and I've not passed yet. Bexin J, I want you to WhatsApp me as well. I need to deal with you guys on a different level in that case. You should be able to pass FR. Okay, you should be able to pass FR. It's not difficult. There is a way you have to go about it. There is a system you must understand. There are key issues you have to focus on, and there is a mindset you need to get rid of. And I know I can get rid of that for you in relation to that. I can assist you by the grace of God. So give me a WhatsApp or send me a WhatsApp message, and definitely I will see what we can do. But like I said, it's going to cost you in relation to that, because I would have to assist you on that level. Isaac Idiom said, thank you, sir. I will WhatsApp you after the class. Bexin J said, thank you, sir. You are welcome, Bexin. No, Abdul Rahman said, please explain errors. Abdul Rahman, what kind of errors are you talking about? Oh, okay. Chosimacho said, Australia. Okay, so you are from Australia. Yes, you can definitely get my books on Amazon. So just go on Amazon, search for Nhyira Premium, the very name on the channel name here, that's my name. You can search for that on Amazon, and you can purchase any of the books, either the Kindle version or the hardcover, and delivery will be done for you in Australia by Amazon. It will be fulfilled by Amazon in relation to that. That's one of my books. This is Advanced Audit and Assurance. And so when you buy it, you realize that made in the USA, Middleton, on January 2018. That's one of my books. And this is also one of my books, Advanced Taxation, which was released last year, printed in Great Britain. So that is it. And we have other ones also as well in that case. So Chosimacho, sorry, Chosimachado from Australia, you can get my books on Amazon. Okay, so you just go on Amazon and you should be able to get them in relation to that. Okay, I'll say thank you, sir. I need to get some sleep now. Bye. Okay, so good night. Thank you for joining the stream, and I believe that you take care of yourself. Nor said compensating errors. Okay, so you're talking about correction of errors and suspense accounts. Okay. Now, compensating errors are the type of errors where an error occurs in one account and that error is compensated by another error in another account. So more or less like now, these are unintentional. So an error is committed in one account and an error, the same error is committed in another account and it compensates it in relation to that. So for example, let's say for instance, we have a transaction such as this, sold goods on credit to KK for $500. Normally compensating errors just look like error of casting, it looks like errors of principle, something like that, okay? So choke, like chocolate. Oh, okay, choke. So choco machado, okay. I was trying to mention a lot of things. Okay, so let's say we have the sold goods on credit to KK for $500. What's the double entry here? We open sales accounts. We open KK's account. And what should be the double entry? Let's say that, no, not let's say, we credit sales in the name of KK 500, and then we debit KK in the name of sales 500. So this is what compensating error is about in relation to that. This is how compensating error is. Now, this amount that is supposed to be entered in sales, what will happen is that possibly the, how do we call it? The accountant enters this transaction in the creditor's account or in a creditor's account. Now, you know, creditors also keep a credit balance. So at the end of the day, the trial balance will still balance. Are you getting the idea? Because it's supposed to be a credit balance in the sales account, but it has been entered in the creditor's account. So you realize that this is an error that has been committed, but it will be compensated by another error in relation to that. So that is the idea about compensating error in that case. So an error is committed in one account, but it's compensated with another error in another account in relation to that. So at the end of the day, you balance it off in that case. You said, please give me your WhatsApp number. So 050-114-9296. You can call or WhatsApp that. If you're outside Ghana, you add +233 in that case in relation to that. Any other questions for me, please? Any other questions? So any other questions for me? All right. So like I mentioned today, what we have been trying to do is to look at how we can position ourselves for the exams. 050-114-9296. 9296. 9296. And I'm saying that if you're outside Ghana, you add +233. Then I see some comments there. Someone said, what are key areas for advanced taxation level 3? Samuel, I'll be providing these things tomorrow. So make sure you join the stream tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday, I'll be providing key areas that you can be looking at. Like I mentioned, we have our examination analysis documents available for our students here in relation to that. But tomorrow I'll be providing you with some things in that case as well. So Samuel, make sure you join me tomorrow. Is there any exam structure for advanced taxation? Yes, based on the November 2019 examination, as well as the trial question released before the November 2019 exams, we have a structure of the advanced audit paper. So probably tomorrow I can share some of the things with you on that. So make sure you join me tomorrow for those things in that case. Charles Zuli said, I will also WhatsApp you, but I'm your online student. Okay, Charles, no P. That'll be fine in relation to that. Samuel Quason said, okay, Samuel, so sorry, Charles. So you're already one of our students. Okay, so that's fine. So you'll be getting a lot of the sneak peek and all of those things. By Monday, you guys will be getting access to the lecture video content on the examination analysis. So that'll be communicated on our WhatsApp platform so that you'll be able to study and focus on some key areas to increase the chances of passing. Becky Jackson, sorry, Bexin J said, please, can you explain the times interest end ratio from the November 2019 FR paper for me? November 2019 FR paper, the times end ratio, really? Let me see, I was looking at that. It's here. Calculate ratios, acid test ratio, inventory turnover, debt to equity ratio. Then, let me see this. Okay, so let me just look at what I have there. Any other questions for me? Please put it in the chat box as I get the question. That's FR, okay. So under ratio, I think that's question 5. Or question ratios, question 4, okay. Okay, so your one of the ratios you were supposed to calculate, current ratio, acid test ratio, inventory turnover, debt to equity ratio, and then times interest end. Now the times interest end is the same as the interest cover ratio. Okay, so the times interest end is the same as the interest cover ratio. Okay, it's the same as the interest cover ratio. So that's another word for the interest cover ratio, and that is called the times interest end. What it means is that if we compare the profit to the interest, how many times will that be going through it in relation to that? And the reason why this ratio is important is because you were asked to calculate the debt to equity ratio. To explain the debt to equity ratio properly, you need an interest cover, so that if your debt to equity ratio is rising and your interest cover too is rising, then there is no gearing problem, because it means we are earning a lot of profit to be able to pay off our interest. But if your debt to equity ratio is rising, but your interest cover is falling, it tells you that you are not earning a lot of profits to be able to even pay for interest, which could affect your future loan repayment in relation to that. So the best way we can explain the gearing of the organization is to calculate the interest cover ratio, which is the same as the times interest end ratio in relation to that. So Dexin J, I hope you understand that. Let me know in the chat box. So God willing, tomorrow I'm going to be providing you with some key areas and some exam strategies in relation to the exams and how you need to position yourself and focus on that. Abdul Rahman said, your WhatsApp isn't available. Are you sure, Abdul? Please check again, 050-114-9296. Please check again. My WhatsApp is really active, so you can check again. So please check again, okay? All right. So I'm going to be concluding around here today. Bexin J said, please, tomorrow, what time are we meeting? Same time, 4:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. every day, I come your way. Either I'm lecturing live or I'll be releasing a video. But tomorrow I'll be lecturing live here. So it's 4:30 p.m. Tomorrow I'll be providing with some key areas, exam structure, and some nuggets in order for you to look at the areas you have to focus on to increase your chances of passing the examination. So tell your friends, your colleagues, and the people you know they must be part of the stream. And you can share this video with them, share the channel with them, and subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. That way, and he'll hit on the notification bell. That way, if I go live and you even forget, YouTube will send you the notification and you can remember and join the stream in relation to that. So I'm going to conclude here today for our lecture. It's always a pleasure to come your way, answer your questions, and provide you with some strategies. I'm really impressed with the number of questions and challenges that you guys raised for me to be able to provide you with some assistance. You see, because at the end of the day, I tell people this, it's not about just studying, okay? It's not about attending lectures. There are a lot of other factors that goes into you passing the exams. And the one I spoke about earlier is your mindset. Some people don't believe in themselves that they can even pass the exams. Some people are full of fear. They are scared. When they get to the exam now, they freak out. And they can pray and fast and fast and fast and fast. Yeah, you can pray and fast, but there are some things you have to also do upstairs here to be able to tell yourself that, hey, it's possible, I can make it. It's not difficult. So the message you tell yourself, or the discussion you have with yourself is very, very critical in relation to that. Then implement these strategies, go through, learn the basic principles, understand the exam structure, get the examination analysis document, practice a lot of questions. Above all things, make sure you get a mentor. Let somebody assist you on this journey. Don't go alone. It's difficult doing alone. So attend lectures, make sure that you are somewhere that people will be able to assist you, or someone will be able to assist you in relation to that. So thank you very much for joining the stream today. Always a pleasure to come your way. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at another exam tips, and I'll be addressing other problems you guys have and provide you with some specific strategies, and also provide you with some key areas on various subjects that you are going to be focusing on. Now, because the subject will be more, and I'll be talking about a lot of things, I want you to make sure that you join the stream by 4:30 p.m. That way you will not mix, because if you miss a subject and you come later on and you say we should repeat it, you may be dragging us behind. So make sure that you join the stream as early as 4:30 p.m. so that we all start together, and then I'll be able to assist you better in relation to that. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Enjoy your evening, and I'll see you same time tomorrow. Thank you very much. Let me give some shout outs to you guys. Jonas, Patience. Patience has become now one of our regular customers here. I love that. All right. So keep following us. John Edu, who else? Mohammed, Charles Zuli, Andrew. Charles too is a regular customer. Andrew Oponbeko, another regular customer. Emmanuel 8, and then Chokomachado, and then Samuel Quasin, another regular customer, and then Savi 297, Kelvin Kamara, Isaac Idiom, JC Adam, thanks boss there, and then Abdul Rahman, Becky J, all of you guys. Thank you very much for taking time all the time to join me on the stream. Remember to share the channel with your friends. Let's get more people to join the stream all the time so we can assist a lot of people across the country, across the continent, and across the globe to pass their exams and take their life to the next level. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.